Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the EdTechBrew. I'm Ann Vega.
I'm Rosie Flugel.
I'm James Varlak.
And our special guest today is Chris Aiken from Austin, and he's going to join us on this episode when we talk about Pajama PD. So, Chris, COVID-19 has changed the way education or educators in general are learning. And so it's been kind of a shift in the way kids learn and a shift in the way teachers are learning. And I remember us back at an ISTE conference, and you mentioned to me that you had worked with some districts on Pajama PD. So you share with our teachers some great ways to learn over holidays, weekends, anytime.
Well, first of all, Anne, thank you so much for bringing me into the conversation. This is awesome. It's great to see you all, and I hope everyone's having an awesome break. We're getting so close to it, and I can't wait for it. I would say, for us at Microsoft, we deeply value, a lot of the PD that has to happen. When you think about what's happened with this pandemic, it's really kind of flipped everything upside down. So much so that Microsoft made quite a few initiatives over the last couple months, especially around trying to help, more than 25 people or million people around the world to kind of acquire that digital skills set because they've been really displaced by what's happened in the pandemic. The reason why I'm sharing that with you all is because it's so important to be able to get the right digital skills considering what's happened, because I just feel like everyone became so reactive this last semester. And so one of the ways that we've worked with school districts is really being able to have this idea of PD in pajamas. And what we mean by that is giving them kind of the ability to just feel empowered and not feel like it's another task or chore. Because a lot of times when PD is thrusted upon someone, it can either go really well or really bad. And I think we could talk a little bit as we get into today's conversation around what makes good PD. And I think some of the learnings that we had with PD in pajamas were just the fact that it was asynchronous. So you don't have to be there every single day at that time. You can watch it on demand later on. It also is around the community building too. I think that was another great point that we had that was just really successful, where teachers were able to come together afterwards and building kind of that cohort that really kind of energizes the base, right? And then finally, the other thing that's super important is just giving teachers the ability and the freedom and flexibility of when they want to learn at what time. And no other semester can compare to what they had to go through, especially this one and the last one. And so we're hoping that, as we go into next semester, that we can really give teachers that flexibility of what they're looking for.
Right. And I've learned over the years that the small snippets, the 1 hour trainings, the 30 minutes, the question answer, like teachers don't want to sit in front of a laptop for 8 hours. And I know we always kind of joke about meetings that we belong to. You just kind of lose the power of a good meeting, a good learning time when it's more than what people can handle. So I know there are some classes that Microsoft offers.
There are quite a few, and I just continue to just be impressed at how many more are coming along. And when you think about just some of the investments we've made around things like LinkedIn, for example, with all the LinkedIn learning courses that faculty and staff can take advantage of, or even GitHub, for example, with a lot of the coding that is coming through. It's a pretty compelling story, but I know that for teachers and just getting them off the ground and where can they get started, there's kind of a couple of platforms that I think about. One of them is called the MEC, or the Microsoft Education Center. And that's really one of our best places for just quick, easy PD. And Ann, to your point, 2 4-hour trainings, sitting in person. It's the sit and get kind of training. Man, I hope we never have to go back to that style, because it just is so, sometimes, how did one teacher tell me? Brutal is the term that came to mind.
Right.
So there's a couple of different platforms, Microsoft Education Center, and there's a great number of trainings that we can go into in just a minute. And then I'd also say the Microsoft Learn platform as well. Learn has a number of different great kind of curricula around coding, digital learning as well. And then last but not least, as we think about all two of those, there's one more that I think is super important, and this is called the Microsoft Imagine Academy. We actually made relatively new announcements with Imagine Academy with the state government of Texas and also with just US-wide, that we have made the curricula readily available for all educators. So when you think about what is it, it's essentially just this ability to have really kind of a couple learning pathways. And there's really four of them. It's productivity, it's computer science, data science, and IT infrastructure that faculty can use for professional development with students that are including preparation for, a lot of the Microsoft certification exams that you can take advantage of and be a kind of a part of. And there's kind of different pathways that you can go through, but at a high level, I would say those are some of the bigger kind of learning opportunities, and we'll dive into them as we go through the podcast today.
Okay, sounds good. And I know like we all kind of have like our favorites for learning. Gonzalo, like when you have an opportunity to learn, what is it that you focus on?
We normally do like a self-evaluation, as far as what is it that I need to improve on? What is it that I'm lacking, or where is it that I want to improve on? I want to be more knowledgeable in this area or in another area. But that's basically what I do. And then, of course, we resort to the internet for resources. There's, there's hundreds, thousands of well-developed plans already in place that we can simply either subscribe or get access to. And of course, one of them being a lot of the resources from Google, Microsoft. And at times when I don't want to spend time looking around, I simply go to the easiest source of all, which is YouTube. There's anything that you can think of, you're going to find in YouTube. And so that's pretty much what I do. And like, for example, if I want to learn more about databases, that's one of my interests that I have. I usually go to either Google or Microsoft, and then I end up looking at more videos on YouTube. But there's the databases covers a wide area of different topics having to do with databases. But the one that the resource that I normally go to is essentially either Google or Microsoft when it comes to databases. And again, connecting that with computer science, like Chris mentioned earlier, there's tremendous amounts of information there that we can get involved with. We can take all these courses at our own pace, and that's a good plus for us because during the time that we have off, we can of course what we need to do, we need to discipline ourselves as far as being able to do this and set timelines for ourselves and objectives so that we can accomplish this.
Yeah. And I think you hit the nail on the head, because the great thing about YouTube or these learning centers that Microsoft and Apple and Google, everybody offers, is that they're short little snippets, kind of like what we've done for our teachers is, you don't want to make them more than a certain amount of time. And Rosie, I think I know what you're going to say. Like when it comes to professional learning, what is your favorite go-to?
Well, I have several, but to the point of the just-in-time learning, you can't beat YouTube, right? We're always on YouTube. But we found as a team that the request for YouTube short lessons was very high at the beginning of the semester. It's tapered off, but it's a great way to get teachers what they need when it's on demand, when they need it, 24/7, right? So that was a great resource that we were able to pull off for our students. Of course, we all know Twitter. Twitter is one of the places I go to. Sometimes you find things, sometimes we find things we didn't even know we needed, right? Oh my gosh. James, you're the Twitter king here out of all of us. So I know you get it. But Twitter is definitely a place to go. I do like podcasts too. Mm-hmm. I like, there's a 10-minute teacher podcast, because usually I'm in my car when I'm listening to those podcasts, and 10 minutes is about my limit here in McAllen, right? I'm getting to where I need to go. But things like that, podcasts, Twitter, YouTube. We just finished ISTE, and we the Ditch the Summit, right? So things like that are coming up. Everything is going online. So many opportunities for teachers to learn. And a lot of these things that we might be missing, because ISTE was online, right? But we were teaching during the day. But they were recorded, so we could go back and watch them again on demand when we need it, just in time learning.
Yeah.
You know? So there's a lot of opportunities. I hope teachers take advantage over the break and, pick up something new that they've been wanting to learn. I know I'm going to try to do a few things myself, but what about you, James?
Yeah, I think everything that we've shared so far has gone along with this need for digital learning, right? And so, number one, I think at the beginning of the pandemic, it was like I refer to it as this digital tech gorge, right? So teachers were just thrown in, but they were having to just be thrown in the fire and have access to all these tools that most of them did not know how to use. Eventually they worked their way through it, right? And so they're feasting on all this. Now we have time where we're kind of slowing down. We're figuring out our craft. We're learning how these learning goals apply. And so, videos are provided. There's all these resources. So now it's about honing that craft, right? And that digital tool craft. What can we add to our tool belt that really we can master? So I got a little bit of meat. Okay, I think I can use it a little bit. Got a little bit of Teams. Okay, great. The center I've kind of scoped out. But now, let's really okay, I want to master this, add it to the belt. And then that way, whenever all I'm learning is about updates, and now I can really apply it to the students that I have in my class, really use it for that purpose. So for sure, Twitter is a great place. The Ditch Summit is still going on. If anybody hasn't signed up for the Ditch Summit, right, this free PD. It's just a video session with an interview, but the resources are shared. And so it's 1 hour of your day, but it's a video. You can pause it when you need to, and you can play it when you need to, right? The Microsoft Education Center. I mean, when I was first, knew that Minecraft was coming, I needed to check out Minecraft. So I went to the Education Center. They have a great Minecraft course. Been going through that course, so now I'm a little more familiar with Minecraft, right? There's all the rest of the programs. OneNote is a really cool tool. If you have no idea how to use OneNote, all you do is go to the Education Center, look up the OneNote course, take the course, and you will be extremely familiar with OneNote. So Google Tools as well. Lots of PD, lots of YouTube videos that teachers are sharing. But if I had to wrap up everything again, Gonzalo was saying, there's computer science and databases, all the information that you can find and that we have access to, teachers also have access to, and they can search. So it's just going to be about a decision, right? You're going to have a couple of weeks off. Yes, we need to chill out. We need to relax. We need to refresh. We need to reconnect. But, at the same time, we can also hone our craft, right? So, find a little tidbit here, a little tidbit there, add it to your belt. And, the Microsoft Education Center is a great place to start for that.
And I know that one of the things that really, I know for our librarians, I've already reached out to Chris and to Monique, is looking at the badges, right? A lot of our teachers, that the badging is something that they can put in their signature. I know that's something that I always do. And so the fact that Microsoft has badges that you can earn, and I know we've already had a lot of our librarians started collecting some of those badges. And the next one I think we're working on is that MIE badge. Chris, I don't know if you saw that yesterday. So I think it's exciting. It's exciting for all of our educators to work towards something. And I'm really excited about the badges that you can get from, Microsoft and Google and Apple. And so any last words, Chris?
Wow. This is awesome. I love, James, your perspective on just, quick and easy, going to the Education Center, getting what you need there. Rosie, I agree with you. Twitter is great. It could also just be a hole that sucks you in, and you just are like, oh my gosh, where are we going, right? And Gonzalo, I love the fact that you're thinking about, data, right? And how do we get the best from that, and where can that go as well? I would just say, if you're getting started with the Microsoft Education Center, you're like, I have no idea which course I should take and what I should look at. I actually asked one of our Microsoft Learning consultants, and I was like, hey, what are the best courses out there. There's a couple that I'll just do a quick shout out. One of them is creating a digital inclusive learning community. And the other one is crafting a collaborative learning environment with class teams. Both have great accessibility content, and that's something that Microsoft is still trying to get the word out around some of the things that we're doing from an accessibility perspective, whether it's breaking the language barrier with Microsoft Translator, or even doing things like with screen reading with the Immersive Reader. So I would say those are two really great courses, and that would be enough if you think about getting Microsoft certified. You really just need 2 hours to get that first badge. And then once you get that first badge, there's plenty more. And James, love what you're thinking, man. Minecraft, tons of fun there.
Absolutely. All right, everybody. Until our next cup, have a wonderful break.
You too.
Cheers.
Peace, guys.